I was about to sleep a stream. I anticipate that I'll be getting sleepy here pretty soon. But I felt the need to, discuss before bed. First, I feel the need to eat. That's obviously important. Hygiene. And then, after I eat, I'm going to spend a little bit of time smocking Barahana. Then after that, probably I'll go to sleep. Hi, Jonathan Carpenter. The thing is, I'm not really up on any drugs right now. I'm just high on life. I don't have any amphetamines. But I had a very emotionally cathartic day. I guess that's given me more energy than I might otherwise have. I think they're hot. Hi, Jonathan Earl. I mean, oven hot. I'm going to pull bong rips as soon as I'm done eating some food. I need to eat some food first, or at least I don't have to finish it all, but make a dent in my hunger before I start smoking weed. Oh, it's too hot. Sup, Jason Kerr, sup. Well, what's up with me is, actually, I felt like getting out of the house tonight. I went down to frozen burrito chimichangas is correct. 1 minute apiece. Easy to cook, easy to eat. But I decided to actually go down to the casino tonight. I lost $135. Which, pretty good casino trip, really. I mean, obviously, you'd like to win money at the casino, but if you only lose about $100, that's pretty good. Yeah, I did. I did have fun. I like getting out and doing something. Yeah, that's bad, Elton. Hi, Rachel. Get a job instead of sitting on the couch all day. What job would you recommend I get, Brooksy? Since you've taken it upon yourself to be my high school guidance counselor. I always wonder about these people who think they know what's best for me. Maybe I don't need the money, Brooksy. Thought about that? Do a meltdown review? What's a meltdown review? I have 0 jobs, about 0.25 of a side hustle, maybe. And I'm doing fine. So, you know. Probably a good idea to say. I'm basically your boss. Fortunately, Brooksy, I don't need to care. I've already got my hot young wife and my beautiful home and the liberty to do whatever the fuck I want all the time. So, suck it. I did go casinoing. I lost $135. Do I like coochies? Only one of them. The one belonging to my lovely and adorable wife, Rachel. Yep, you know, this was the day that Brooksy learned a lot. He had a lot to learn today. It's never fun when you, when it's learning time, you know. And you have to be corrected. A lot of people don't do well with being corrected. Brooksy's one of them. Yeah, I am happy. I'm super happy. Should I be sad? I've not read the whole book or anything, but I've cut plenty of cards from Kant, yeah. What game did I play at the casino? I played some roulette, then I played some 3-card poker, then I played some more roulette. And in the end, I lost $135. I'm your teacher. I don't remember ever having a student named Javed. That better be just weed. Or what, Brooksy? You really have an inflated sense of your own importance, don't you? It is just weed. Unfortunately, I don't have any poker rooms near me. I have the Indian Casino, but they don't have a poker room. And there might be a card room in Merced. They don't have craps at the Indian Casino. What video games do I play? I don't really play any video games, but occasionally I'll play chess on a live stream with somebody. If I were gonna play video game, I would play NCAA football, which is now a game again, finally, after many years of not being a game. Well, yeah, Brooksy, I know the rules of chess. I'm not a particularly great chess player, don't get me wrong. You know, anybody who's good at chess will kick my ass, but I kind of enjoy it sometimes. Brooksy is kind of flailing around looking for some kind of foothold to find purchase upon. But there just aren't any such footholds here because he's not going to successfully troll me. Thanks, Brooksy. But no thanks. Well, there are a couple of Kanye songs that I think are pretty good. However, I'm increasingly thinking he's among the scumbag people who were, diddying it up. So that makes me. I'm not one to. I'm in general one to say let's separate the art from the artist, but if I learn too much graphic detail about somebody's wrongdoings, it may be difficult for me to do that. Well, Brooksy, I guess that's an inevitability you have to cope with a lot. So I will leave you to cope with that. Everybody, Brooksy's rich, and everyone's jealous. He saw me in another stream. It's conceivable. I was in a stream called Liliana the other day, but I wasn't there in an especially long time. There was a gentleman there who was kind of monopolizing all the audio space. Yeah, you've already indicated that you're going to touch me, BGE, except you're not going to touch me. So the reason I didn't necessarily respond to you claiming that you were going to touch me is because you obviously are not going to touch me. Alton says, what advice do you have for 22-year-olds? Be as good as you can, Be as good a person as you can. Make as few mistakes that you regret later as possible. Don't cheat on anybody. Try to be a person of character. Ultimately, when you get a little bit older, it's what will matter to you about your own past. You will regret most of the instances probably when you were not on the side of goodness. Invest is also good advice for young people. Guys bickering and whining is for bitches. Okay. Well, Adam James, I mean, of all the things being said here so far in the chat, yours seems most like bickering and most like whining. So, just gotta say, I wouldn't say that monogamy is moral cowardice. Well, I'm also 53 and fit as a fiddle, Brooksy. But what I do recognize is that I have better self-concept, better self-understanding, more correct, more accurate self-understanding, and more compassionate. And I've learned from my experience. Is TE involved in creating language? Not really. Thoughts on Elon Musk as Secretary of Efficiency? He's not American. I did think that it was the case that Elon Musk burned the shit out of J-Lo when he's like, Diddy's ex-girlfriend asks us to trust her judgment. I thought that was just burn, baby, burn. And that's how J-Lo needs to get used to this reality that she can't say shit without everybody saying, fuck you, J-Lo. Brooklyn bet you weak and can't do handstand push-ups. No, I am not weak. I'm strong. Therefore, I absolutely cannot do handstand push-ups because how weak is that? It's like, can I think of a weaker thing to do than push-ups? No. If that's your best idea of how to spend time, that's just as weak as it gets. You can't get any weaker than that. I'm 6'4.5", 6'5", something like that. Okay, well, I am happy to not be a man if that's the standard for manhood. And if that is the standard for manhood, you and your other male friends can have sausage parties with each other and admire each other's penises all you'd like. As for me and mine, we serve the Lord. That's something that you sometimes see as a sign in the house of a Christian ESFJ. As for me and my house, we serve the Lord. Great. What do you serve the Lord? Breakfast? Okay. Just a little kind of impulse, impromptu cleaning. Why not? Is that what's on your mind? Penis? Why do you go there? I don't know. I just think about guys who like to work out and look at their muscles and stuff as just being kind of homo. No, nothing against homos, you know. I just think that it's not very masculine to care about your appearance. I'm 6'4", is not bragging, it's accurately reporting on my height. Or could they be impacted by language by innervation if you do not assign instances of the categories that they cease to exist? I'm not sure where you're going with this, Money. Normally I can follow your reasoning just fine, but maybe I missed the opening to this. Eric, tell me any child observation about your dad, if you don't mind. I mean, he always liked to talk and didn't like to listen. He wanted to hold court in a way that's much more comprehensive than the way that I hold court. I'm engaging with the words that other people say, and I'm interested in the interfacing process. Sky is my phi. Hello, how are you? I'm skipping this shit after that last comment. What was my last comment? About my dad liking to talk and not liking to listen? Well, you know, I just sat through plenty of his stories, which were very dull stories. So, after Jane and I had gotten out of that museum, we walked across the street to the most delightful little bistro. It was something straight out of a postcard. You wouldn't have believed it. Yada, 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 right? Like, that's third slot extroverted intuition. Money, how about you just shed it and let the big boys talk? Brooksy, will you stop being so provocative, needlessly provocative? My word, there's no reason for you to be so just like reflexively provocative. This isn't the argument clinic. Remember, you think like, oh, I'm just having fun being just automatically provocative about everything. But really, what are you doing? You're lying. You're being dishonest. So, now granted, you might say, hey, I'm not really presenting my words as though in a way that anybody would take completely seriously, but you'd be surprised what people will take seriously. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, since you're in the business of provocateur. All right. Let's go. Where can you get a green t-shirt like mine? I don't know. Jimmy says, go to bed, Grandpa. When did you go to bed, Jimmy? Eric, if you said fish and chips, would your dad proceed to tell you about his fish and chips experience? If he listened, probably not. He would continue talking about what he was talking about and ignore my inclusion of fish and chips. Because that's how Third Slot NE is. I'm not really about to sleep myself. Of course I'm not a predator, ZJ. Am I selling cloths? No. I don't know, Felion, the answer to that question. It's an odd question. What's the brand of what? What's the brand of... Yeah. What drugs am I on right now? I'm not on any drugs, really. I mean, I pulled some balls. I pulled a few bong rips. That's it. I'm on Wellbutrin, which isn't really much of a drug. It's like more of a medication than a drug, you know. I've had 0 alcohol today. I've had 0 alcohol for almost 11 years now. No, my dad never hit me. My mom slapped me once. I mean, I don't want to range bender. It's a mistake to attribute harmonization and things to an action function like extroverted intuition. That's not a value. Extroverted intuition has anything to do with. Oodala, you're going to have to be more interesting, okay, because I've heard this thing a billion times already. Like, come up with something original. You're waiting for Chris Hansen. Donovan, if you're going to be a predator so much that you need to wait for Chris Hansen to arrive and get you, then I'm putting you on time out. Stay strong about what? You miss Winston's mom and the others. I kind of appreciate this chaotic hootenanny going down here in the chat. You know, keeps it interesting for me. I didn't ban them. I just timed them out. So, you know, I've got excellent news. I just started smoking again today. You might say, that's not good news. You know what? It sure does feel like good news to me. Feels like, in general, today feels like a transition day. Oh, it's just too cold out here. I need to go stand in the garage instead. It's just too cold to stand out here. How cold is it? Mid-30s. Which is pretty cold. So, accordingly, instead of standing out there, I'll stand in the garage, where I'm sure it will be appreciably less cold. Still pretty damn cold, but not quite as cold. Just put this down. Yeah. Oh my God. Bad at COD. Listen, you're not even the first person in this live stream. It's not even been going on for 25 minutes to say that. You could not say anything less original. Well, yes, extroverted intuition is the third slot, is an absolute value. Extroverted feeling in the 8th slot is an instrumental value. money because people want to play with it rather than have it mean things. I was hoping you would just do the old people thing and read it out loud. Well, I mean, it didn't even get me to read it out loud the first time I saw it. And I have seen it more possibly than anything else that I've seen in the chat. That's how commonplace it is. And how unoriginal is the point. So, my point is maybe come up with something original. Then maybe you'll get me. I mean, the problem with the way you're running things here is, even if you do get me, it's like, what credit do you get for it? You didn't even make up the thing. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. You might not agree with my 2 cents. You might say, Eric, keep both of your cents. We don't want either of them. And I can understand that. I can respect that. Brooksy, you're, you're more interesting than bad at COD. Of course, I suspect COD, now that I think about it, stands for Call of Duty, especially since it's all capitalized. I heard somebody say, his name is Patty the Batty. He's an MMA fighter. He said, I'm going to teabag him like it's Modern Warfare 2. I thought, what a great expression. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked either. Bad at COD. So, yeah, Patty the Batty is pretty cool. I like him. I like the way he talks. I like his complaining about American breakfast. Saying like, why is it bacon or sausage? Why isn't it bacon and sausage? I thought that's a good point, Patty the Batty. You got a good point there. I think Patty could beat Connor. Patty shouldn't have won his last fight, frankly. It was a toss-up. Could have gone either way. I guess I shouldn't say he shouldn't have won it, but it was a close fight. So, English fry-up is goated American breakfast is lame. All right, I'll accept that, Jimmy. If you get bacon and sausage in England, then I agree with you. It's better there. I'm ashamed of my country for having bacon or sausage. Combat sports are dead boring. Some of them are. Some instances of those are. That's why you shouldn't sleep on this job security guards. What do you mean? I don't understand what you're referring to. Well, fair enough. X past X dat X. Is that just past that? Is that all you're saying? Okay, X is just like stop in Telegram. You know how they go like go, stop, 2, stop, or I don't know. Leave it like stop in between things, with telegrams. I know smoking's not good for you, but I just had a the need to start smoking again today. I was very upset. I was kind of like just placing it on to Rachel. Rachel didn't do anything. I didn't really know why I was so upset. But eventually I figured it out. Kind of like psychology shit. Kind of shit you normally think is just bullshit. Like, oh, this is a symbol for that. And I tend to think those things are bullshit. But that's actually was the case in this instance. Because Provo, God damn it. Can you just go in the litter box, you fuck? But you know, this instance was some unprocessed trauma, guilt about my dad. I really feel like I kind of just felt it today rather than try to punish myself and blame myself so much. I feel kind of like, hey, look at that. You kind of feel emotionally healthy for the first time in a while. Which is nice, obviously preferable to emotional sickness. I see. You're ashamed because, I mean, I'm just joking, obviously. I'm not genuinely ashamed of America because we have bacon or sausage. I just thought it was a funny thing that Patty the Batty said. If you don't agree, that's totally fine with me. Frankly, couldn't care less. I don't even eat breakfast. I think you're rather poorly hinged in your wanton use of the term unhinged. I think that's a fair assessment. It's a claim of limited scope, see? It's a smarter way to do things. Let me see what I missed in the chat now that I'm back inside. Gramps dated Elizabeth Cady Stanton. I did not date Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Bye, bad at COD. Anyway, I'm going to go chat in a plant. Okay, go for it. Alton, that's a tough question. Alton asks a very tough question and a very serious question, which is, are people who commit marijuana weak or strong? Are people who execute their own finality weak or strong? I don't think, I think it really depends on the circumstances. Like, I don't think it's necessarily ought to be measured in terms of strength or weakness. You know, I've come to think that my dad made the right decision, and you know, which he did. I think like this, but no, never have batted cod. Uh, the thing about that is he made a smart decision about bringing his own life to a conclusion when he felt like there was nothing left to live for. He was in his 80s and it made sense. For somebody who's young and going through a hard time, to me, that feels very selfish because you're really going to leave a lot of wreckage in the aftermath of that. At the same time, I get that it's selfish on the part of the living to want the death to be easy for them. Because the easiest death for those who are left behind is the slowest, most painful death for the one who's dying. My mother's death was easy squeezy to deal with because she was at the end of a long, horrible battle with dementia. My father's death was much more difficult to deal with because it was abrupt and sudden and unexpected and bloody. We were there, and when there's a death by firearm, obviously Rachel and I were homicide suspects. They did the gunpowder residue on the hands test thing. Obviously, we had nothing to do with it, but yeah. Well, Sauce, I feel the same way. That's how my dad felt as well. Doesn't the choice to live instead of die precede any discussion regarding fairness? Uh, no, because like for my dad's perspective, it's from my dad's perspective, he also didn't want to eat into the estate, taking care of him pointlessly in his last, presumably miserable months after my father had died. Padawan range vendor, you can think what you want to think, but just I don't want to argue with you about stuff. You want to have your crazy ideas, you have your crazy ideas. But, I don't want to play that game. So, no, I'm not crying. No, I just started 38 minutes ago. That's fine, Padawan. What's wrong with 5G? Let's go. Is it too few G? What kind of beverage should I get? That's the question. So, Conman, I guess we did stream earlier today, huh? That was a short stream, and then we just started this one. Let's see what drinks we have to choose from. I choose you. Non-alcoholic beer at you. All right. Now that I've got my hat on, I think we can take another stab at going outside. I think it's not completely implausible for us to go outside. No, I don't drink alcohol. There we go. No, I like to drink non-alcoholic beer. You know what else I like? I like it when people tell me what I should drink. Because I need a lot of advice in that area. Brr. So if you like coldness and being outside, you're going to love this life. Because it's cold and we're outside. Sauce likes cold. Jimmy, non-alcoholic beer is for people who miss the taste of beer. It tastes similar enough. Yeah. I drank enough real beer that I developed quite a taste for it, and this is delicious. Yeah, it's even got the same kind of heavy, full feeling that you can associate with drinking real beer. No, come on. No, I did not. I mean, the thing is, there's this framework book called Book of Values, it's a massive document, but it's got all the cogent critiques that can be made on capitalism already laid out as arguments. I don't know. It would make sense. Every third's an absolute value, so you don't want to do poorly on it, but it's also a, I'm not sure to fall away of paying attention, so it's not going to be that great. I don't know. It might express in a variety of different ways. Is someone imitating you? Con man? Who would win in a fight? Diddy. I have one kid. She's 26. I'm neither waking up nor about to go to sleep. I mean, I will go to sleep at some point, but I sleep at odd hours. Hey, Bradley Sharp. Okay, well, I can't tell who's who, so I'm just gonna not care about it. That seems like the best course of action, given the matter at hand. D caret 2. Cheers. This is non-alcoholic beer, though. Bradley Sharp. I should inform you. I'm not an alcohol drinker. Do you notice any repeat subject matter with comments like potential bots joining chat, or is that not happening? Genuine question. I don't know anything about this. I've not. I've not encountered stuff that to me screamed bot. Right. That the closest would be like Manu John, maybe. But I really actually do believe that Manu John's a real person too. I could be fooled. There could be plenty of people who are bots. She's doing great. Gee, thanks for asking. I don't talk to her all that often. My name is not Walter White. No, I slept for a while. Got up, went to the casino, lost $135. Drove back home. Feeling pretty good. Thanks, buddy cat. It is referential of that. You did, in fact, get the illusion. Are bots also scammers? I mean, not necessarily. It could just be somebody's kind of like experimental art project to send bots to develop relationships with live streamers and see how real they can make it or something like that. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying that's happening, but I'm just saying that could happen. I sound like a very nice person. I try to be a nice person. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. I feel pretty bad about misdirecting some anger towards Rachel today, who did not deserve to be so, to have such an angry arc. Sometimes I'm not very nice, but I genuinely try to be nice. Some things make me genuinely mad, and obviously I'm less nice when I'm mad. But I would like to follow Marcus Aurelius' advice. I didn't yell at her. The point is, I was both displacing and transferring. So I'm not sure if those mean exactly the same thing or not, but I think I figured it out earlier in the car. Oh, I mean, we've already talked about it a lot. I don't remember exactly, but my point would be that when it comes to anger, I don't find it to be for me anymore at this point in my life, a productive emotion, simply because I'm not having to battle over little things. And bigger things, anger doesn't get you anywhere. Well, yeah, there are plenty of repetitive stuff, oil up, etc. I suspect it seems more typical of um, like kids copying memes, right? Sure, I could imagine the Trump people coming in and that being bots. I could imagine that. That has a specific purpose, right? Hey man, what you doing? I'm just killing a little time before bed. Web is breaking the matrix. Okay. What about name a car for an edit? Yeah, that could be a bot. Sure. Sure, I'm not saying that there's not repetitive things, but what's interesting is when I call people out by saying it's just so unoriginal, can't you come up with something else? Generally, they'll give me some kind of reply, that's consistent with answering my objection. Now, that could be part of a bot too, obviously. But it's like, why would somebody want to help me by creating traffic that doesn't exist? I don't understand why. Do you believe the earth is flat? No. I think it's bumpy. Am I tripping? I am not. Feet, 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 feet. So I don't know what to make of that. Obviously, that could be a bot, or it could just be somebody who wanted to say feet a lot. Let's go. Are you doing Frankie C? I like Frankie C and his videos. He only has 100 and some thousand subscribers. Uh, Less than 10 times what I have. He's got fewer than 180,000 subscribers, but he makes $7,000 a month in YouTube ad revenue. That is way more than 10 times as much as I make. Arachnids will survive is and evolve before world ends. There are hidden worlds beyond the Antarctic ice wall. Don't compare yourself, Eric. I'm not comparing myself like that. I just trip out at the fact that if you get over 100,000 subs, you get it's like it goes like this. Here's 100,000 subs and here's how much money you get from YouTube. It's like it's basically nothing until you get to 100,000 subs. Then you can actually start making money. It's interesting thing. I'm not comparing myself like that. That's I am not chasing. I'm not chasing outcomes of the practical nature around here. I think that's pretty obvious. If I were chasing outcomes of practical nature, I'd say things like, "Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. It really helps," and that kind of shit. No, we gave out none of our Halloween candy because um, I'm not above selling out. I just am too lazy to sell out. And also, certain kinds of selling out, I'm a little snooty. Like, I don't want to have a Patreon. How much poon did I get in my younger days? Let's see. About 4 liters worth. How many liters of poon did you get? I don't blame you for expressing anger as much as I tell myself not to be angry, and that's an obstruction. I've gotten angry many times towards my mentor, Rusticus. Well, yeah. I recognize that like anger today was useful for me. It was misdirected at Rachel, and it took me a while to figure out what was going on. Like, there's absolutely no reason for me to be as mad at her as I was in that moment, and it was much contrary to how we always are. I'm not. We don't have the kind of relationship where we have conflict on the regular. So it was very unusual. And it was a way of me finding my way towards some emotional clearance that I needed to do related to my own guilt about my dad in his final days. Well, when says, Mom, I apologized. I'll apologize again. I'm not so worried about uh, gift giving like that. I'm much more worried about making sure the narrative is correct. You know, I seem to have a lot of pent up frustration. I think I did have a lot of pent up frustration until today, and I think the reason is because I have a very difficult time really feeling my emotions and like crying it out and shit and understanding and feeling through it. Like what I got today is, yeah, I was not a great son to my dad at the end of his life. And neither was my mom a great daughter to her mother at the end of her life. And it's one of those things where, it'll probably come to me too because people have their own lives and that's how it is. So I really feel like I felt through the process. I recognized, you know, my fallibility. Not that I always got that part, but I recognized that it reflected a fallibility that's human, And I don't know. I really felt like I cleared out a lot of ontological backlog, and even physical backlog. Like well, this what we're talking about here is FI polar specifically. You know, I was thinking, oh, hey, I'm feeling depressed, or at least engaging in a bunch of negative self talk. And no, my dad's mom was not in, well, she died when I was like, I don't know, like little, like 5 years old or something. So, however long that is. I guess not that long. Maybe when he was like 40. She died. No, I'm not bipolar. So, good morning, Lewis Williams. How are you? Nice to see you. So, the thing is, I didn't mean to get into all this heavy stuff, but it's been a really great day. I felt like I processed a bunch of stuff. I feel bad about being mad at Rachel unfairly and inappropriately. But I think what she cares about is that we're on the same page regarding justice, you know? Like, I think she'd have a problem if I were still trying to maintain that she had done something wrong. I don't remember, Elton. You said something dumb. Toby Morgan, Athletics, good night. Okay. You don't need to be quite so crass. Let's go. Was my father an atheist? Yes, he was. And so was my mother. Neither of them were fond of religion. My dad more strongly opposed to it than my mom, but both of them didn't like it. So, you know, I wasn't raised religious. So, of course, I ended up a Christian. People who are raised religious, they tend to end up atheists. Pretty crazy stuff, huh? Lots of commas tonight. Religion is terror. Okay. Atheist doesn't believe in any higher and magical power being. Correct. Do I think he's with God the Father as well as your mom? I have no idea. I don't have any idea or any opinion about the afterlife. I understand Christianity differently than a lot of people do. I think he's just a blowhard. It's like he's pretending to not get that it's just a frame of reference thing. Magical thinking is a viable frame of reference. It just ought to be understood as such and held to its own standards. It shouldn't be misapplied to areas where it's going to produce bad outcomes to apply it. Have I slept yet? I mean, I have odd sleeping schedule. I slept earlier for a couple hours, you know, I'll sleep a couple hours here and there. That's tasty. Do I like jacuzzis? Not especially. How about you, Cone Man? Okay. That's the fake Cone Man. I believe there are some unexplainable beings. I don't know if it's just my brain, but actually, I have a video I made specifically, Putty Cat, about Richard Dawson. So if you'd like to know what my thoughts are, you can watch that video. Just channel search Richard Dawson, and it is a edited video that I made with slides and stuff like that. Lewis Williams, I don't necessarily sleep any particular time. So, like, I don't know what time I'm going to go to bed. I got up from my afternoon nap at like, I don't even know what time that was. I'll pull it up. I'll find it. I'll find it for everyone. It's fine. Okay. Richard Dawson. He had this weird thing where he kissed everybody. But I tried to do a fair assessment of it. It's 11 minutes and 7 seconds long. And it tells the story of Richard Dawson. Here it is. If you always want to know more about Richard Dawson, former host of The Family Feud, then check out this video. Footy Cat, you're correct. Well, he kissed some Muppets as well. Special needs biblical Christian rapper. Cool. Yeah, you can learn a lot about Richard Dawson in that video. More about Richard Dawson than you ever thought you wanted to know. He seemed like a pretty cool guy, actually. He's a drunk, obviously. But I don't generally do that kind of thing, Padawan range bender. Have you ever had anyone else with bots pretending to be them? Yeah, I think so. TWFP Raw is dead. Got deleted of the channel thanks to copyright strikes and stuff. Not of my own doing, but people abusing the ability to drop links and stuff. Back in the day, most of the hosts or celebrities on game shows were drunk, but so was Babe Ruth. Didn't seem to hurt him so much, Babe Ruth. Yo, let's go. What do you have to say now? Tell me the words that are going to come from your mouth next. So all this clickbait, but I've learned not to click it when it says, Diddy accuser exposes A-list celebs and his mom caught on tape. Huh. I tend to think those things are clickbait. That they don't actually reveal new information to me like I want them to. I want to know. Good for you, let's go. I'm very proud of you for being 35. Eric, do you know what you're going to say ahead of time? Or do you find out when we do? I find out when you do. I mean, sometimes I go into these things with something specific I want to talk about. To some extent, what I wanted to talk about specifically today was that I feel like a storm is broken, I feel like I was inundated by dark clouds for a while there, and I feel like it's broken. I guess a fever breaks more than a storm. It's like a fever is broken. I feel pretty happy again. You're pretty random, Eric. Even though the stream is titled something, you go on some tangent about something else. Well, I have some thoughts about what I want to talk about, but it only takes me so long to talk about that thing that I initially had to talk about, and then beyond that, I just start dealing with what the chat's talking about. Do you like any red meat? Well, I eat beef and pork. Rivers of thought. That's any hero for you. Okay. Yeah, I certainly can continue to chat and talk about a variety of subjects in the event of people not really adding anything to the chat, which happens fairly often enough. Like right now, these numbers tonight are much better than I normally get. But it's up and down. You can never really say with YouTube. Eric, did you watch Mr. Rogers growing up? I did watch Mr. Rogers growing up. It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I was in a neighborly mood, so everything was fine. I thought the puppet show was odd. I thought the puppet show was odd. Yesterday, my grandma caught me. Okay. Thank you for that. Are you in? Am I in Pattaya? No. I am in Mariposa. Mr. Rogers is a Nazi. Is he? Gooning. I see. That's what gooning is. Thank you for looking it up, G. I appreciate it. Now I know what that thing I'm always doing all the time. Now I know what it's called. Do I do sports betting? No, I live in California. There is no sports betting allowed. Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us, and another follows and is gone. That sneaky time, it's always sneaking away. Like, you know, Sneaky Joe and the fish. Does this make Hawaii? I don't know. I would believe cycle. I would believe. I don't need to know. I assure you I would believe. So, I'm getting pretty tired. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick. I think I could go to sleep now. Yeah, I'm up. I'm up. So we need to hurry, not just because every day we get closer and closer to death, but our grasp and understanding of the world will be gone before we get there. And that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I think I said good night. I'm going to try to get some sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. We'll see what excitement tomorrow brings. I'm sure it will involve. Yeah, I did finish watching Lost. I think it will involve streaming tomorrow. So, yuck, have a good night, and everyone else as well. Goodbye.